All right, you guys, we're going to be working on another body pattern of mine. This is another 100% custom made pattern by yours truly. Kind of inspired by the body that was made by Adam Krutinger, but we're going to do a little bit of extra stuff to it. This is also roughly the same size as the human-like body that's already on my Etsy page, and this is going to go up hopefully within a few hours posting this video. So you're going to get 4 sheets of paper, or there's going to be 4 pages in the PDF document, and there's also going to be another document that is going to lead to this video, so you have like the best instructions imaginable. So this is going to be both your fabric and your foam pattern, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to get this drawn up on our foam and also on our fleece, which is the skin of the puppet. So this is a brand new sheet of high density foam. This is 1/2 inch. I'm going to leave a link in the description to all the materials that I use and all the tools that I use. So when marking things up on foam, I'd just like to go ahead and use a black Sharpie, and I also have fabric markers here, or fabric pens, that are more suited for drawing and doing artwork on like fleece or other sorts of fabric. And I like to use, and we're going to be doing a very colorful puppet, and I like to use the same color markers as the fleece, so in the event that a pen bursts, or maybe you're going a little too hard on it, you don't get, and if there's accidental bleed through, it's not going to be that noticeable, or it's not going to be noticeable at all, as opposed to using something like a black Sharpie. So we're going to go ahead and put our pattern weights in. And also, before we begin, you're going to be printing these out on just standard printing paper. Just make sure that when you are printing, I'm going to throw up an image up on the screen here. When you're printing, always make sure that you are printing the actual size. Do not alter the document. Don't do fit to print, or scale it up or scale it down. The patterns are already perfect. You don't have to mess with the margins. You don't have to do anything. Just do the actual size. It's going to print out just fine. I promise you guys. I went ahead and tested these out myself. So you're going to get multiple pages, and you're going to have to combine multiple pieces of the pattern together. So there are, little cut lines right here. So one page is going to have the bottom part, the other page is going to have the top part for both the front and the back of the puppet pattern. And what I did was, the line here, the cut line, just go ahead and slightly overlap them so they're like this. And it's going to make sense once you do it. It's hard to see here, but there's a little cut line, and instead of 2 of them, being visible, again, you're going to overlap, so you're only going to see one cut line. You combine them. This is nice and straight. This looks really, really good. This is going to be the front. Here's our front neckline, and the back obviously doesn't need a neckline, okay? And let's just go ahead and start with our foam pattern first. So let's go ahead and toss our pattern weights on here. Once again, this is high density foam. You can pick this up at Michael's, Joann's, anywhere that sells foam. If you want to use more fancier stuff, you can use that, I think they call it reticulating foam. Alright. Nice. And this is going to curve just like that. Here's our neckline. Oh, whoops. Gonna happen, guys. I like to follow along the edge with my finger. Some people like to go ahead and, trace this onto, I think, tag board. It's like more sturdy paper, and it works really, really well for them. That just gives their pattern a little bit more rigidity. But again, I expect people not to have access to those things, and that costs more money. So just standard printer will do. And of course, on my patterns, on my wonderful, lovely patterns, we do have links, a URL for my YouTube page. So you can head on over to the puppet playlist, the puppet making playlist, and let's go ahead and get this closer right there. That'll do. That'll do. We could also, just to save, cut down. No, let's just do it this way. Let's just go ahead and do it this way, because most people will do it this way. Again, let's go ahead and spread out our lovely patterns. Doing the exact same thing, okay? And I like to mark up things, okay? So this is going to be neck. And then let's go ahead. I'm going to cut this up. I'm going to leave that over here. And then I'm just going to put a big ol' F for front and the big ol' B for back. We're going to go ahead and cut this right now. Alright, so if you want to be more precise in your cuts, you can go ahead and use something like this to, you know, really cut out those shoulders, the shoulder blades. Just be very careful. This is a Persona blade. This is very, very, very sharp. Very, very dangerous. I remember just not manhandling, but just handling one for the first time. I was getting all cut up, and I'm just like, what the hell? Yeah, so just be careful. Please be careful. Alright, so that's pretty good. There's our back. Let's go ahead and do the front. So, again, if you really want to be precise here and don't want to use scissors, you can always use a Persona blade. Alrighty, so we have our foam. This is the body, essentially, okay? This is gonna come out real nice. This is gonna come out real nice. I'm really excited to see this. Don't throw these away. So if you also watch the arm and hand video, you can cut these up. You can use these as filling for the arms and give the arms a little bit of volume. And instead of just like using one piece and like shoving it in there or whatever, because that could be kind of tedious, just cut them up into little pieces, stuff them in there evenly. And again, there's a video on that already. So we're pretty much done with this. All we're gonna do, and I'm gonna of course show you guys. We're gonna apply a little bit of contact cement all across the lines right here, and we're not gonna put any on the neckline. Okay, there's no need for that. All across over here, all across right here on the shoulder blades for both, and then we're going to just go ahead and combine them all. You know, so we'll get there when we get there. So let me go ahead and toss this out into my foam bag on the side. And we're gonna use our patterns, our patterns that we printed out and combined together, and we're gonna start setting up the fabric, the skin of the puppet, as I like to call it. All right. So I want this to be a really fun, vibrant puppet. So we're gonna go ahead and use this fabric material. Now, what I like to do. Let me see which way is the stretchy side. Okay, right here. All right. So what I like to do, this is anti-pill fleece. This is going to be the skin of the puppet. And now, anti-pill fleece and blizzard fleece, they have a side that is really, really stretchy and another side that is not so stretchy. So from left, from left to right, this has a lot of stretch. That's a lot of stretch. So when you're putting a head pattern, a fabric pattern for a head or a body, and you got to put it over, the skeleton, which is the foam of the puppet. It's a lot easier to stretch it out and to maneuver it around if you have the stretch going left to right. That's just something always to be mindful of. Is it the end of the world if you don't do that? No, but it is a lot easier, and it makes the whole process more enjoyable. So now for the anti-pill fleece, there's a fluffy, vibrant, beautiful side. And then there's a yucky side. So this is the yucky side. Well, it's not really yucky. It's all a matter of personal preference. But this side is flat. There's not a lot going on here. And then the other side is more bright, more vibrant. This looks more like a Sesame Street character. So we're going to go ahead and flip this over. I'm going to go ahead and just leave most of this draped on the floor. So this is when here, I'm going to set this aside. This is the part where we absolutely need to be mindful of the stretch, of course. Okay, so the stretch is going left to right. So the body patterns, again, when we're putting the fabric over the puppet body, again, want it to be left to right. So this is good. Let me see. We're gonna go ahead and start from the far left hand side, just because I don't want to put this in the center because then there's going to be a lot of, you know, fabric that I'm not utilizing. There's just really not much you can do with it. So I'm trying to save and preserve this as much as I can. So let's just go ahead and start with the top here. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of space here because I'm going to be putting this together with a sewing machine. And that's going to be very, very easy. Of course, and so I need extra space between the patterns. So I have a seam allowance. Now, if you're going to be doing this by hand, you don't need seam allowances, okay? So where am I going to need the seam allowances? Pretty much all around the sides. And same for the back pattern as well, except for where the neckline is over here. There's not going to really be a need, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm going to explain how this pattern is to work. You know what? Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and just leave that right there. Let me scoot this up. Let me make sure you guys can see all that on the camera. Oh boy. Okay. No, we're good. Oop, oop, oop. That's the wrong pin. That's the wrong pin. So remember, you guys. Remember, we have colored fabric markers that roughly match this. Again, I want to make sure that in the event that there's accidental bleed through or a pin burst, it doesn't go through the fabric. And if it does, it's not going to be noticeable. So I think this one is the best one. So let's just go ahead and try this color out. Let's go ahead and start with this guy here first. So we're going to go ahead, once again, place our pattern weights on here. And we're also going to be applying our seam allowance. And it's going to be pretty cool. All right, so here. All right, this is good. Alrighty. Now, this is the back. Okay? Now, what we want... This is going to make a lot more sense. I promise you this is going to make a lot of sense. Okay? Just bear with me. Okay. So, you know what? We're going to go ahead and just... We're going to keep all this right here. This mark right here. We're going to also cut this out. This is going to fold into the body, into the Bulwark body, okay? So you're not going to see any green foam when the head is removed. And over here, we're not going to cut. This is going to be sewn together right here. This is going to be sewn together right here. However, this, we're going to go ahead and cut probably around right here. Just cut it down. Just cut down and down the center. And then this is going to be folded into the body itself. This is going to make more sense when we get there. I mean, if you really wanted to, I mean, I guess you can extend it upwards, but it's not necessary. I think this is going to be fine. All right, so I do like to mark everything up. I put B for back. I put an N over here for neck. You know, just mark it up. Mark it up. I'll clean that later. So we're going to go ahead and cut this pattern out as is. This looks really, really good. I'm really happy with the way this came out. So, let's get to cutting. Oh, wait. I need to get one more thing. Alright, so the bottom of this puppet. See, if you were to just cut it right here, it wouldn't be able to fold into the body to just really keep it in place. So, what we're going to do is we're going to add from, I guess right here. Let's see. We can probably do 3 inches. Let's go ahead and do 3 inches. I believe this is what I was using. Let's use our straight edge. Well, thank God for the straight edge. Alright. We're going to give ourselves 3 inches. We're going to do that for this side as well. Okay? Alright. Let's also give ourselves some seam allowance. We're going to do the exact same thing for the back side. Now we can begin cutting. Alright. Alright, so this is pretty much ready to sew. Let's head on over to the sewing machine. Alright, this is done. This is really good. Let's go ahead and clean up where we have threads. We have some, yeah, I'll do this on camera. We have a thread right here. Where else do we have threads? A little one. On this side, oh yeah, we got a big one right there. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead into the garage. Oh wait, we got a straggler. We're gonna go ahead into the garage right now, and we're gonna go ahead and get our foam body put together. Let's head on over there. All right, you guys. I turned off the audio for the GoPro, and for whatever reason, the light goes out. So what we got here, of course, I am in a well-ventilated area. I had the garage door open. I'm wearing a really nice respirator. It's about 40 to 60 bucks, and it's got the little filters on it, and that's to protect me from the harmful fumes that come from this can, which is holding these little squeeze bottles of contact cement. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to the contact cement that I use. If you have a little bit of extra money and you want to make a bunch of puppets and you want like the best of the best, I would recommend Barge and Masters are really great. But of course I'm using the big box store, the DAP brand of contact cement, which has served me very well. The stuff is really good. And this is where we're going to be applying the contact cement on our foam body piece, okay? The only places that we're not really going to be applying the contact cement is at the very bottom, and of course the neckline, okay? But everywhere else you can go ahead and put it. It doesn't really matter. Again, just no neckline, no bottom. And I like to use a squeeze bottle because it's really precise, and then I come in with this, I think this is a painter's knife. Again, I'm going to leave a link in the description to this tool. I got it at Michael's. I recommend always buying your supplies from an actual art supply store, or go to Michael's or Joann's or whoever. Just avoid going to Amazon. I don't do Amazon affiliate links. I don't do Amazon stuff at all. Very rarely will I do an Amazon thing. Anyway, yeah, so just be patient with this process. I just do one side at a time. And there we go. There's my little light goes out. I'm charging it right now as I'm doing this voice narration. And hopefully my soothing voice eases you. So yeah, so just very gently. If you put a little too much, that's okay. Just go ahead and use a painter's knife and really spread it around. If you go a little too extra on it, it's not the end of the world. Just don't go too extra with the contact cement. Because the foam, the high density foam here, this 1/2 inch high density foam, it's very porous. And while it does a generally decent job of staying on the surface, a lot of material does seep through. But contact cement, it just appears, this is the best. This is, you can try hot glue maybe. You can try other glues if you'd like. But this is how professionals, put together puppets on, Sesame Street or Crank Yankers. They use contact cement. But I have to impress upon you, please read the safety instructions on the can of your contact cement, and also you have to wear a proper respirator. You can't use those dorky masks that everybody was wearing during the, that medical situation that you can't really mention or you get banned in 2020. Those aren't going to save you. Those aren't going to protect you. If you sniff this stuff long enough, you're going to get very sick. So I am wearing a respirator, and I'm going to leave this in the garage. I'm going to leave these two pieces in the garage for about 15 to 20 minutes. You could probably get away with 30 if you really want to. And the way that contact cement works is you put the contact cement, or the contact cement glue, whatever you want to call it, on 2 different objects. And then as soon as they make contact, that's when they start sticking together. It's an instant bond. It can be very forgiving in the very beginning, especially when you're doing other things. But once it makes contact, that's it. If you try to rip this apart, you're going to destroy the puppet. It's kind of like wood glue. It's like, yeah, the wood will break before the glue. That sort of situation. So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying this commentary. I would have sped this up. But I don't know. I guess people really enjoy watching this. Please forgive the mess in this garage. It's supposed to be a lot cleaner, but the holidays. Ooh. So yeah. Again, just a reminder: we do not put the contact cement around the neckline. This is why I love marking things. Okay, it's always really important to mark. Is this going to be the front part of the puppet or the back part? What about where's the bottom part? The bottom part is where the arm goes through, and of course the neckline is where your hand goes through, with, of course, with the purpose of going up the neck of a puppet and then manipulating its mouth and its face, yada yada. So yeah, this is it, guys. This is how it's done. And what's I'm gonna call it? And now this painter's knife that I'm using. Okay, it's a really simple tool. Handy, within arm's reach, I have ballistol. I love ballistol. I use that on firearms when I'm maintaining my own firearms or the firearm of a client, and when I'm cleaning it, that sort of thing. I mean, ballistol does everything. I use ballistol on my shoes, my guns, and of course I use it to keep clean my painter, the painter's knife. The painter's knife. You don't want the you don't want the contact cement to kind of really set in. Okay, the ballistol starts breaking up the contact cement on the knife, and it's gonna make it a lot easier to clean up, which is what we end up or it's what I end up doing in a second. But as long as you work quickly, though, quickly. I applied my contact cement on both parts of the body. Okay, so the front and the back, and then as soon as I'm done, I hit the knife with the ballistol, and then I start cleaning it. And once again, I have these little painter's tripods all throughout, because I don't want any of the contact cement making contact with the surface of my worktop. It's a really nice workbench. Okay, so I don't want that. Now when I'm done, the squeeze bottle, I don't think the squeeze bottles do the best job of like sealing the contact cement. Like the squeeze bottles are kind of cheap. There's no like Made in America brand. So I do have this lid that has a little gasket, and it traps the odors, the smells. Nothing should be coming out of it. I've walked past those quite a few times. However, now that I'm finished with the now that I'm finished with the contact cement, I'm just gonna go ahead and again, I just hit it with the ballistol, and I get one of these little shop towels, and I'm just rubbing it off. The stuff will just come right off. Sometimes you need a little bit extra persuasion, so I use another painter's knife to scrape off the remainder. Okay, so this is what you got to do to keep the knives in working order. I've had these knives for months, continuous use, and they just always work. They always look great, and they're pretty inexpensive, but they hold up really well. There we go. So now I'm scraping off what I couldn't get off with a shop rag. I might hit it again with a little bit of ballistol, and of course there's a little bit of ballistol remaining on the little shop towel, and this stuff will come right off, guys. It comes right off. You could probably use a box cutter knife if you really want to, and just scrape it off that way. But again, I don't want to be. I just like to use soft metals on soft metals. All right. Well, that goes. That's about it. Let's. We're gonna when I come back, the body pieces, the body parts are going to be completely dry, and we're gonna put it together, and then we're gonna put the skin of the puppet over it. Let's go. All right, while we are waiting for our foam body to dry up, the contact cement to dry up, let's go ahead and we're gonna trim the excess of the seam allowance, and then we're just gonna kind of curve up over here because we don't really need to cut all the way through that. So let's just go ahead and begin. All right, perfect. So I call this trimming the fat, and the reason why we do this is so that the skin of the puppet can just be seated a little bit better, because if you have excess fabric from the seam allowance, it can get kind of bulky and look boxy and just yucky. So I call this the trimming the fat process. I do this for the head patterns, I do it for the body patterns, and I think the results will speak for themselves. All right, hopefully by now the foam pieces that we put together are done. They're dry, and it's safe to bring them inside and put them together, and we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, so we're going to use a Sharpie really quick. So the way that this is going to work is this is going to stick together as soon as we make contact. So we're going to go ahead and make alignments. So again, I want to be as precise as humanly possible. And once I am done connecting this, I'm going to leave this out just so the remainder of the odor will kind of dissipate. All right, so perfect. All right. You gotta be persuasive, and just don't be afraid to pinch it and be aggressive, okay? All right, there you go. And this is roughly the same size as the human-like body. So this is more like a mannequin, and this is more like I was kind of inspired by Robert Guillemin from the Dawn of War 40K series. I'm gonna throw up a kind of a little image of that guy, and yeah, best to do it without a. See. Now, if you want, you can absolutely, cut this out a little bit more. It's a little squeeze, but my hand goes through it just fine. It really is not that much different from this one right here. All right, this is great. All right, well, let's go ahead and put our fleece or the skin over this pattern. Look at it. Gonna fit nice and snug. So the way this is gonna work, all right, so this is the front, and then obviously this is the back, and hands right here. Okay. This is gonna be a lot better. Just bear with me. This is gonna go in here. What you want is for the seam allowance fabric to line up as best you can with here. This is how you know you're aligned. The seam is going to be aligned right here where we glued the body together. You got to sandwich a little bit. Go ahead. Alright, so it's still kind of folded up in here, but go ahead and spread this guy out a little bit. What I like to do is just grab the fabric, pull away, because see, there's still a little bit of a fold here. It's not a big deal, you guys. This is why we have the stretch going from left to right, so everything can just fit just right. Alright, perfect. And then right here, this is just gonna go into the body, just like that. We'll clean this up a little bit. We'll clean this up a little bit. Okay. So, this neckline, we absolutely need to do something about this. Okay, so... Alright, so we're gonna do... Alright, so right here, this is where the neckline is. We're gonna do this slowly, okay? We're gonna go real slow. Because I ain't trying to... to reveal any of the foam here. Came out really damn good. Alright, there's... Yeah, this is great. This is really damn good. Okay, so... Remember, this is where I was suggesting that we cut. And then this is going to start collapsing in just like that. See what I did there? Alright. All that's left to do is to glue these things into place. And yeah, this is the body. This is the Bulwark body compared to the human-like body. They're almost exactly the same size. So when changing clothes for your puppet, you don't need to buy extra clothes for something with the Bulwark body. Whatever that fits the human-like body is going to fit for this, and I'm gonna demonstrate that to you when I'm done. When we're done gluing this together, and do that one little finishing touch for the arms. All right, let's get to it. Alrighty, let me make sure that we are on screen. Okay, so let me go ahead and give you guys a bird's eye view as to what's going on here. So of course, this is that the extra 3 inches that we added to the bottom of the body. So what I like to do on the flat sides, we're gonna glue this flat just like that. So this is gonna lay flat. This is gonna lay flat. We're gonna go ahead and cut a little bit of the excess right here. We're gonna apply Fabric Tech glue. This is what I like to use, Beacon Fabric Tech glue. You can pick that up at Joann's, at Michael's, or wherever really. And yeah, this is gonna look really darn good. Really darn good. So this is the bottom, and then we're gonna go ahead and start gluing the top. First, let's cut this excess out. Okay, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. Alright. Alright, we can start gluing this guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start exposing. We're gonna do the rim first. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do the rim first. All right, you guys, we're almost finished here. The body is pretty much drying up, and this is looking really, really darn good. This is a really, really great, simple body pattern. Now, when you attach the arms, we're gonna attach. This is also gonna be a modular puppet as well. So I have an arm here from a NPC puppet. So this is essentially where it would go. So the little holes are gonna be around right here. Alright. So right there is pretty good. Alright. I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. So this is going to go right here. And the circles will go right here. Kind of around where the seam is at. If you burn this, it's not a big deal. Okay. Pretty good. Perfect. Perfect, 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 perfect. this is entirely complete. Now this is ready to receive its arms, and yeah, give this about 48 hours to 72 hours for all the glue, all the contact cement, everything to kind of settle in place, and then you can go ahead and start using your puppet and doing whatever it is you'd like with it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Link in the description to these patterns on my Etsy page. Again, anybody who supports the show, God bless you. Anybody who supports the Watchfrog store, which is also another way to support the show, again, just thank you. Links in the description to everything. Of course, the materials as well that I used. Peace out.